Hello and welcome to Voices of Parenting podcast. I am so glad you're here. My name is Mussi Diskin. I am an advanced nurtured heart approach trainer. I am a parenting coach. I am also an inner wealth coach, which means that I help people rediscover and connect to the people that they truly were all along, but may have gotten forgotten along the way. So to find out more about me and what I offer, you can check out mussidiskin.com. I would love to connect and I would love to hear your feedback. Reach out to energizinghearts@gmail.com. Thank you for being here, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Hello, everybody. Today I am here with a very long-time friend. We've known each other for many years, all the way back to high school, with Mushka Rom, who, for any of you who have been at the CTI, you know Mushka was at the CTI, and what a gift that was. And thank you, Mushka, for being willing to hop on here and just we're going to just do this. We're just going to have a conversation, super raw, unfiltered and unplanned, just chat about life, about things, whatever it is that comes up. So I guess as a starting point, and we'll see where this goes, I'm just going to ask the very sort of open-ended question of what does nurtured heart mean to you, or how does it affect your life? How do you use it? Tell us about the relationship between you and nurtured heart.
Okay. Well, I love that question, my relationship, because it started out as Musi, you posted that you were doing a course and I joined. At that time, my son was 4. And I thought, oh, I like this because it's something different. And then after a while, I think I did one-on-one with you for a little bit too, to help navigate a growing child, which I was very unfamiliar with. I kind of had this notion that actually the intensity doesn't live within my son. I mean, it does, but it was for myself. And then that kind of flipped the script. And so the thing that really attracts me to Nurtured Heart is that I get to take ownership for my life, and I get to be the director of my story and to know what's mine and what's his, and it allows us both to be human in our human experiences without creating chaos. There's a lot of clarity and there's a lot of rules, but it gave me a space to just be able to be with my intensity as a mother, which sometimes can be so overwhelming if I didn't have clarity, because you love this children so much, or they're so frustrating at times, and that's a lot, and there's a lot going on within, and so just having that clarity is what really keeps me. And right now, the truth of each moment is a big thing for me. It's it gets me. I've been off. I feel like I've fallen off the bandwagon of Nurtured Heart for a while, and then trying to get back on. There's a lot of getting back on, falling off, getting back on, and that's okay, because the truth of the moment is that I can pause, I can breathe, I can know what I truly want, what I truly desire, who I truly am, and then get back on. And I don't have to be oh my gosh, this is I don't know what I'm doing. I've fallen off a million times. It's not worth it. And that's the truth for me. And then obviously that also reflects on my children. They can break a rule, they can have an action that is out of my ballpark, and that it could be intense for that moment. And then they get to switch up. The next minute they can be back in, and they can be back in. And they can deal with their reset, while I get to deal with my reset, which is so big for me also. There's so much about Nurtured Heart. It really speaks to me. It speaks to me because I found it to be so different than everything else, and it's because of my ownership of my things. That's a big deal for me.
Can you reflect on, let me pause. First of all, I love everything you said. It's so beautiful. And it's just amazing how, I guess the piece that inspires me the most about what you're saying is what inspires you? The fact that to you, it's such a value and it's so meaningful to you to be in a place with your kids where you're taking ownership of your own stuff, and that you have that clarity of it's your intensity. Like you said, it started with your son, and then you were actually, no, this is for me. And that the ability to forgive and move on, and for everyone to be imperfect, and that to be okay, and to have that sort of permission to be human, and just the truth of the moment. All of those things are the things that stick out to you the most. And that's all just such a beautiful, authentic like connection first way of living. I don't know. And humble, I think, and mature way. So I respect a lot that those are the things that jump out to you, and I feel similarly. I wonder if you could reflect more on this ownership piece, maybe by sort of comparing and contrasting to, like, you're saying it was so different from other things. Like, what did it look like to not have that, or what did not having that feel like, and then what does having it look like and feel like?
Okay. So, I'm trying to like put my feelings into words. So not having it looks like, for example, like the house is flying, it's a mess, and I'm like, I need everyone to clean up right now. Let's go. Like, why are you not doing it right now? Like, I asked you already twice. And like, kind of, I think in a conventional way, the pause would be like, speak kindly to your kids about cleaning up right now. Or like, okay, this is a team effort. We must get clean up the house. Or, or maybe it's like you're not listening to the rules, so you can't get, I don't know, something later. Whereas with the nurtured heart, the accountability or ownership would be like, okay, Mushka, reset. Like, this is not the mother you want to be. Okay. So I'm really angry. I'm really frustrated. I might leave the room. I might hop in the shower if I could. I might just close my eyes and just really feel that and be like, okay, what is it that I really need or want? Like, what is happening to me? Okay. I'm feeling flooded. Okay. Mushka, is feeling flooded. Not the kids, not the house. Mushka, okay. Mushka's gonna breathe. What does Mushka need? Mushka doesn't need a clean home, but that's not my kid's issue right now. Was I clear with them before that this was the rule? Okay. Can I do something else for myself? Like, what do I need to drink? Do I need to use the restroom? I'm a mom, so like sometimes those things get delayed a lot, and I'm not aware of it. Do I just need to go to a quiet room? Can I get a cup of tea? And those things really kind of like grab me. And then I can come back and be like, hey guys, mom really needs a clean house now. How can we get it clean? Or like however I might phrase it. So the outcome might be the same at the end of the day, but the clarity of knowing like it's actually my chaos inside, which is very much affected by what's going around, but it's my chaos. The kids are being kids. Like they're meant to be able to be playing with toys. And my house is not a huge wreck. My kids are very respectful. I'm not talking about they're not like my rule. Like I don't even have a rule of not throwing toys because they don't. Thank God. But it's just one of those things. Like I'm not. They're not breaking the rules. What I'm saying. They're just being children, and that's okay. And sometimes it's really triggering for me as a flooded mother, and that's fine. But I need to know that's my flooding, and it's not their behavior or being living. And that's the distinction for me. I'm actually quite far removed from like generic like parenting stuff because this works for me. I'm going to stick with it. I'm not looking to make the gold shinier. It's working for me, and so I'm sticking with it. But I think that might be the difference that I'm referring to.
So gorgeous. The way that you said it, it struck me that it's almost like, because you said something so interesting that just I never like thought of maybe that clearly, or that like putting it into a box like that, that there is a pause in conventional parenting too. It's like, I'm yelling, I'm screaming, this isn't working, this isn't the right way to parent. What's the pause? And as you're saying it, I'm like thinking about that, and how is that different? And why is that different? And why is that not a reset like that? You're pausing. And it really, what it is to me, what it sounds like you're saying is like, what's the goal? What am I looking for? The goal, the first pause is still about controlling the situation to force the outcome that I need from others, like seeking compliance. And so, we've learned over the past 100 years that hitting kids with belts and screaming and threatening is mean and abusive and creates mental health issues. So let's not do that. Let's be gentle instead. But we're still trying to force compliance. We're still trying to make other people it's almost like when you described it, it was almost like we're trying, the goal there might be, for some of us, might be, to make others, to put others in a box that makes our world safer. That is other people's responsibility to make me safe, calm, happy, okay, grounded. And like
Yes.
everyone else is making a mess and everyone else is noisy and I don't like that. So you all need to change. And like a better way to make them change is to speak kindly. So I'm going to reset myself to like page 429 of the latest parenting book that I read, cuz like it talks about how to like manipulate kids in a way they don't know they're being manipulated. Like how to give bribes that are connected to our natural bribe, or whatever. But it's all really just the same manipulation guised in a different dress. If you're coming from that space of, I need to pause, but I'm pausing to get them to listen to me. I'm still trying to get them to listen to me, where I see this huge shift in you. Maybe it's not a shift in you, but a shift in that direction of parenting to what you're describing. It's all about me taking ownership, use the word ownership of my environment, of my life, of my home, of my parenting. My responsibility is to control and get compliance of myself to be the parent I want to be and to have the home I want to have. And that's where my focus goes, to try and see what's needed, what will help. But it's about me. It's not about everyone else making me
Yeah.
feel comfortable or
Yeah, I
good.
love yeah, no, I love that because it's funny. I was journaling before this, and one of the other things that came up when I was journaling was that I was noticing through one of my children's. I had a situation at school, and I had to speak to the principals, and I was like, "This is a fantastic trait to have. This child is going to like do incredible stuff. They're not swayed about by outside um, distractions from their goal. We just have to harness it in the right way, and that will transform their life and the lives around them. And then it got me to think about that idea of like it's not a character trait to squish and to, you said, put in a box. No, no, no. We want that. We don't want them to be like little sheep as they grow. Like no one, like we don't want that. I don't want that for my children. We want, for myself even, I want that to be harnessed the right thing. Like, so that squishing in the box, that like kind of subtle manipulation that's dressed in a really holy, like beautiful way, can sometimes be slippery and like hard to catch. Even for myself, when I'm talking and I'm really passionate about it, and I'm a human being, so like I said, like I fall off the horse, I need to get back on. So those things are so like true to like most people. For myself, very true to myself. But I was just like, it's such an important part for me to come to realize, like, I find the greatness in what is happening in this moment, and like, whoa, I don't want to squish it. No, I want you to be like so determined. I want you to be so goal oriented. Like, if you do that, you'll be so successful in the world. And yeah, it's hard to raise someone who's so strong. But you just need, it's not even like, I don't want to, it's hard if you want to squish it, right? But stick it into a box and be like, okay, it's not safe for me right now because I need to be able to have a clean home, or I need to be able to have a calm Sunday morning. I just need to harness it to behaviors that are not being, like, not a rule being broken behavior. So whatever that looks like, or to my play, like, you would, I don't know if I can say this, but like you were talking about the playground. I love that idea when you were doing coaching. It's like, in my playground, this is where I am. And like when I need to turn off my energy, it's like just because you're at my playground, but I'm here, right? So this is like, in my playground, like these behaviors are great when you do like follow the rules of my playground. If you want to use it outside my playground, like okay, then I'm here waiting for you. But it's not something to be like afraid of, or like it takes away so much fear. The what ifs, the like, oh my gosh, what does it mean for my kid? What does it mean about me as a parent? Like, it's okay. These are like most things, you can find the greatness in them, and that's beautiful. And most people want their children and themselves to have this like personality that can go out and make a difference in the world and be strong. And that's what this is. And I went off a tangent. It really spoke to me.
I love it. And the tangent has brought up many tangents for me. And now I have to decide where I'm going with it. Yeah, the difference of ownership in a conventional parenting versus what you're describing, it might not even be like one is ownership and one is not ownership. In a conventional parenting model, ownership is making sure that you take the responsibility seriously of raising good kids who show up a certain way in the world. And it's your responsibility to make sure they show up that way. there's like this sort of control you have to have because it's your fault if they aren't whatever the world says they have to be. That is a huge responsibility, a huge weight, and very, very hard. And I think that I want to like almost hold space for the stress and tension and hardship of parenting that way, that parents are so loving and so responsible and so attentive and intentional and present and engaged to try and force their kids to be what they believe their kids need to be because it is taught to them that it's their responsibility, and that is sort of the method that they're following, so they're doing the right thing to be so stressed about what's going wrong, worried about behaviors that are out of line, and trying to make kids, be a certain way because it's very much thought as their responsibility, and it's irresponsible to let your kid have a bad trait and not make it better. My heart goes out. I feel lucky that I don't hold that responsibility, that ownership looks like something different to me, because I think that is taking ownership in a model where it's your responsibility to do that. And I think that, to borrow a word we were talking before we got on the recording about how both of us dabble with like marriage approaches that are similar and healing approaches that are similar and nurtured heart, like we've been through a lot of the same stuff. And to borrow a word from the marriage thing, the receipt, to be able to receive what's available, it requires a letting go of expectation. It requires a letting go of me deciding what should be. Because as long as I'm deciding what should be, I have to look at and evaluate if you're in or out, if you're in the lines or not, if you've left the lines or not. And so that becomes my full-time focus, is making sure you stay in these lines, because there's an expectation of what you have to be, versus if I don't have to do that, if I can let go of any expectation and believe and give myself permission to believe that my children were created as whole people already. It's all in them in potential. They have a journey and a life and a purpose that's theirs, that is what the world needs. And it's not only is it not my responsibility, it's none of my business to change that. Like, the world needs them as they are, And so ownership becomes a whole different thing. It's about learning from them what greatness looks like, learning from the moment what I'm supposed to be energizing or not energizing, what lessons I'm supposed to be teaching or not. I'm supposed to be teaching the lessons that are presenting themselves right now as things that are going right. If they're going right, I can teach them, right? I can energize them. If they're not going right, then I don't want to go there. That's such a gift of nurtured heart that now I don't have to worry about the things that I should be teaching, because I can't teach them anyways if I'm doing nurtured heart. Absolutely no, I'm refusing to energize them. So now I rewire my brain to have this other sort of ownership where showing up for what is right and beautiful is my responsibility. And isn't that a great job?
It's so, as you're talking, I'm like, wow, that must be such a heavy load to carry. Because at the end of the day, we're not in the results business. That's up to your higher power, whatever that looks like, right? And I know so many great parents that have children that the world would classify as really challenging or not within whatever. There's so many, like, what you would look at and be like, oh, that's opposite. Because at the end of the day, each child is, like you said, has their journey that's made for them, and each parent does. And we can't control what's not in our control, right? We can try our really hardest to like yell at our kid to use a knife and fork at the table for table manners. But if you turn your back and they're going to start using their fingers, like, that's a load that's so heavy to carry. So yeah, I do have a lot of sympathy and empathy, and like, we do have tafkid. Our role is to raise healthy children and citizens of the world, good citizens of the world. But my question is, you raising good citizens of the world means that they're whole humans. They're not like trying to cuff parts of themselves or question their integrity. They know who they are, and like, there's a great saying that it comes from other places, but I've also heard it a lot, especially in the CTI. What you water grows, right? What you look for is what you'll see. That's true for ourselves, and also true for us. We see our children, and it's true for our children, and that's the truth. So, like, I hear you and I hold empathy, and I'm like, I just want to yell from the rooftops. There's another way, and you can also know that you're a great mom, even if you like they're using their fingers when they eat, okay, and whatever it is, and if they're being children and childlike behaviors, and they're growing and they're learning. And like, you can also look at your child and see the holiness and the wholesomeness of them. And you don't have to fear of who they might be as they grow older. That they're God's gifts, and sometimes days are really hard, and you're pulling your hair over your head, and you don't feel like it, and that's okay too. It's not going to wreck your kid, and it's not going to wreck you. You can get back on the wagon and try again and try again, because each moment is a new moment. It goes back to the original, like the truth of each moment, and it's okay. Yeah, I do hold a lot of empathy and sympathy. I feel like that's such a hard load to carry if you're just trying so hard to control what will be at the end, because also no one knows like what the end will be. Like, no one knows.
And I think that this is actually, you're reminding me that there's a piece of it that I didn't even say, that when I'm so busy needing to create something of what's going to be at the end, I actually lose out on what's here because I can't focus on two things at the same time. So I'm so busy being there that I miss. Someone was talking about cell phones, about like being on your cell phone automatic. There's super important things you're doing on your cell phone, maybe because her mother mentioned something about her being on the cell phone. She's like, Ma, I'm not like scrolling TikTok. I'm like responding to important emails and like doing important things, right? But she took the time to reflect, and she realized, like, the fact of the matter is, it's a choice to be on my phone. It means the choice is I'm being on my phone, which means I am not going to be aware of everything in the world around me. I'm missing out on opportunities of everything, opportunities of relationship, opportunities of to see another human, opportunities of noticing nature, of just noticing anything. I'm not aware. I can only focus on one thing, especially a phone. It like takes your whole focus. But I think that that's very true in my sort of the agenda I give myself in parenting. If my agenda is needing to create a certain future, I can't possibly also be fully present for the beauty and greatness and relationship and connection that is available to me here in this moment. And having permission to not worry about that and just be in the moment is like, I get to have a relationship with my children that I wanted the whole time, that I was like hoping for. You know, I get to just like be with them and enjoy life today. I don't have to wait for anything, to just really be alive. This was a really fun conversation. Look how fast it goes, right? It's so fast for us as we're chatting. Mushka, you said that as a mom, you would be willing to connect with other people if they wanted to reach out, have a conversation, ask questions, hear more from you. What's a good way for people to find you?
Yeah, you can email me. My email is long, but I will go ahead and spell it out, and then it'll be in the show notes, I assume. So it's mushco.manc, mushco.manc @gmail.com. I just also want to say, like, going back for a second, sorry, is that it can seem like so overwhelming. I feel like sometimes people listen in and like, oh my gosh, there's so much we have to change. And I just want to like say, I see you. It's just be where your feet are today. Like, what happens if you just breathe in, like, maybe it's going to be okay. Like, or breathe in and find out, like, what is happening within me at this moment that's making me feel so like I need to control. Can we play with, like, what happens if we let go of control? And then, like, one tiny step at a time, because it's so freeing and you don't have to feel so overwhelmed. So reach out if you want to connect, I guess, and not feel overwhelmed.
Or feel overwhelmed together.
Or feel overwhelmed together. Exactly. I'm down for that too. Yeah.
All right. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you next time. Hey, wait, don't go yet. Take a minute to find the beautiful quality that you have, that you appreciate about yourself.